Hello, you're watching EASD TV. Now, we're in this very fine city of Madrid, and we thought we'd ask two people to tell us a bit more about diabetes in Spain. So with me, I have Javier Ampudia and and he's of the University Hospital in Valencia, and Eduard Montanya, who is from the University of Barcelona. So let's start with you. Tell us a bit about the clinical situation in Spain. What are your big challenges at the moment?
So I think in general, the health system in Spain is covering all the aspects of the treatment for people with diabetes. But despite of this, we have still problems. So one of the problems in relation, for example, with people with type 1 diabetes is the access to new technology. So automatic insulin delivery system is probably the gold standard, the treatment that bring the majority of people to good glycemic control, but is very expensive. And access to these treatments is not equal in all the regions in Spain. So this is one of the challenges that I have to solve in the next coming years, that because we need much more money for patients. The other aspect is also related to type 2 diabetes. So because there is an increasing proportion of people with obesity, as well as in other countries in Europe, there is also an increasing number of people with type 2 diabetes, and we need to reestablish our screening diagnosis process to identify very early these people and to treat appropriately. I think this is the two. There is many other problems, but I think this is the two major problems relating to the clinical situation of diabetes in Spain.
I always think of Spain as a thin country. It's the Mediterranean diet. But are you seeing an exponential rise in obesity here too?
Yeah, and this is because the changes in our society with mobile technologies, people are much more sedentary. They are not making so many efforts. The access, for example, for food, for fast food is much more cheaper than healthy foods, and if you see there is also a gradient from north to the south part of Spain. So there is much more obesity in the south part of Spain as compared, for example, to the northern part of Spain, Catalonia, or for example, the Basque Country, and northern Spain, there are less obesity as compared, for example, to the Canary Islands and Andalusia. Yeah.
How does Spain's clinical situation drive research on diabetes in Spain?
Yeah, I think that the situation in research in Spain is good. And we can see that the strength of the researchers and
there are a lot of Spaniards here.
Right, you see a lot of Spanish, both clinical and researchers that attend the EASD meeting. They have submitted the abstracts, and we have plenty of presentations by Spanish researchers. Yep. So, and I think that what we have done in the past years have been to try to strengthen the relationship between the clinical researchers and the basic researchers. And we have now some institutions and some consortiums where we have together clinical and basic researchers that work together. Because I think that that's one of the important things in order to advance the research and to move it to the patient, to have that interaction between clinicians that sometimes they feel far away from the intricacies of the basic research, and then the basic researchers that feel that they are alone on their lab and not really getting access to the patient. So this is one of the things that has been an effort in Spain in the recent years to foster that collaboration between clinicians and basic researchers. And we have in the middle some people that are in both sides, no? So those translational researchers. And there is, for instance, a consortium which is called the CIBERDEM that I had the privilege to be the scientific director, and where we really have that interaction and that collaboration. I think that that's fundamental. And we see that also here at the EASD, where we have that interaction of the clinical researchers and the basic and more basic researchers.
And Eduard, if I can add something about this, is in terms of this relationship to improve for the future. So we have new activities for the next coming years with a close collaboration between the basic researchers from CIBERDEM and also the clinical researchers from the Spanish Diabetes Society.
So are you seeing a greater involvement of patients in research in Spain? Because that's a big trend now.
Yeah, we have done an effort also to involve patients in research and also to have the patients to be knowledgeable about what we do. And in fact, we have established some formal relationship with the Association of Patients with Diabetes. The main one in Spain is called FEDE, the Spanish Federation of Diabetes. And with them, we participate, for instance, they have a journal that, and in every issue of the journal, there is what is called a CIBERDEM corner, where we have an article there where the researcher present their more recent achievements and they discuss that for the patient. So because that's important, it's one of the things is also to make patients, not just patients, but the entire society of the importance of the research and the effort that is put into finding cures and to finding new treatments and also to prevent ways to prevent diabetes. So really, that's important. And then also, and that's why, and in fact, we got an award from the Federation of Patients with Diabetes for the efforts in research in diabetes. So that's, I think that it's a key point also to get the patients involved. So they need to know what we do, and then researchers and clinicians, we need to know their needs, because then we can focus better also our research. That's a key point, yeah.
Spain, after the United States, I think is one of the countries most involved in clinical trials. So that means that probably the quality of how clinical trials are performed in Spain and also the involvement of patients in clinical trials is amazing. So I think this is a good news. And this is Spain, I think, for the good collaboration between patients and clinicians in Spain.
One final thing I was going to ask you, you were talking about access to technology, but there's also, of course, access to the new therapeutics and also a job of persuasion, I think, with governments to try and persuade them that actually the benefits are really substantial for people living with diabetes. How is that in Spain?
Well, this is a major issue because, the governments and especially our governments is trying also to make the prices as low as possible. And this is, goes in contrast to what is doing in other countries. So, and that also prevent that people in Spain, for example, have difficulties to access to new drugs, for example, because they are much more expensive. This is something that we want for the Spanish Diabetes Society. We want to change, to try to make a closer collaboration with the authorities. But certainly, is a question to be solved in the future.
Indeed. Now, I cannot have two Spaniards in the studio without asking you. This is nothing about science now. What's the one site in Madrid that you would advise people at EASD to go and see?
The Prado Museum. Yeah, I mean, the Prado Museum is the place that I would recommend them to go. It's outstanding. The paintings that they will find there is a unique opportunity to go there. This is the place that I would really recommend.
It is indeed fabulous. It's a fantastic Velázquez. It's
yes,
very...
yeah. And there is, and now there is also a temporary exhibition of a painting of Caravaggio that people that love paintings, they should attend them and then take a walk in some of the main, it's huge, the museum, so they could spend days and days and the whole meeting there, no? But at least to have a few ideas of some of the paintings that they are there, that would be, and then after that they could go and walk and enjoy the lively city, yeah.
I can only agree about this, but don't forget to take tapas also in the center of Madrid.
Yeah.
We will certainly not forget to take tapas in central Madrid. Thank you both so much. And EASD TV, a travel show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in a few minutes.